Welcome to The Good Fight. I am MC, and this is my wonderful co-host, who you might have met before.
Or not. I'm Rocket. Hi, howdy. How we doing? Welcome to The Good Fight.
I'm sorry, I'm MC Moon Emoji.
And I'm Rocket. Just Rocket.
just
Bland and
Rocket.
boring. I don't have an emoji. You could do Rocket in chat if you like me, but I'm not gonna say any of that.
It has been a minute.
There we go. There we go.
Rocket
Jeez.
emoji?
Yes. Aw, it's so precious. Rocket emoji. Blasting to the stars. Thank you for staying true to us as we give you this delicious yet late episode. But
Very late.
We are happy to be here because Monday night is where it is at in the Rebel Federation main hub. Rocket the full throttle machine. You betcha.
Could start adding that to the script when we write it.
What script?
I do have a couple of things that I want to talk about before I hand it off and we start going on. So just an announcement. We have a new member on the podcast team, Crazy Head.
Recruit.
You might know her. She's around somewhere. She's joined as a writer and eventual host.
We love
Thanks,
you.
Crazy.
Welcome to the team. Woo woo.
We love you. This is how we're going to try to do it. We might have some leeway for future episodes if they don't turn out the way we want them to. We're trying to do a history series of episodes, as this one will be a part of. However, the first episode was supposed to be Origins, and we've hit some bumps. So we're skipping to RPF Revival, which is our 2010 to 2013 phase, which Rocket will talk about in a second. But just to let you guys know, when Chaos and I made this whole thing and had the idea for it, one of the biggest parts of it that we wanted to happen was educating everyone who's new to RPF on RPF history, because this is a really old organization. There's some really cool moving parts to it, and it's pretty interesting stuff. So we're going to try and talk about some things that you guys have missed. And we do have a history page, but it's more interesting to hear, I think, from people who were there and really get more of a full picture rather than just, a summary, and we can get some details and stuff.
Yeah. Bust open those history books and let's get some primary sources rolling. If everybody is familiar with our good boy Red, we would actually like to have him here today and talk a little bit about the era that he was in fact a part of. Would we get some hands in the air for our boy RF Admin, Minecraft Division leader, and best boy buddy Red with 2 Ds. There we go. Hands in the air. Yes, you. Welcome.
This is me clapping. Is my clapping as crispy as my voice?
Your clapping is crispier than the waffles I ate this morning.
Yeah.
Bruh, not appreciated, but I love those hands in the air. Red, how are we doing this evening?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I didn't think
He's asleep. Don't lie.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired, but we'll get through it.
Before we continue to the next part, I just want to really quick introduce our PSA for the night, because we do that. Public service announcement for today is put yourself first. I think that this message is pretty much just saying, hey, I know that this is an emotional moment for some of you who don't take care of yourselves nearly enough, but you need to make sure that you're putting yourself first. Everyone is important, but you can't take care of anyone else. But if you don't take care of yourself before everyone else, and we're trying to promote making sure that you yourself are happy. And IRL is greater than RPF.
Yeah, that's really important. I know that some of you think sleep is irrelevant and you're an EU boy staying up for the Aj event at 7 or 5 in the morning, but fun fact, you don't have to do that. Attend the events that make sense for you and live, go to school, do your homework, get good sleep.
Okay, I said what I said. I don't take it back. RPF is not greater than IRL.
Don't go wandering around just focusing on RPF. You have a life.
What's the activity sheet?
What is the activity sheet? Wolves is poison. But yeah, please take care of yourself. If there's a US event and you just finished your homework and you ate your dinner like a good little person, you can attend the event. It's like a little treat. It's like dessert. Do all the good things first, and then maybe you can attend. No, attend the event. Members.
If you don't take care of yourself, then you really can't help RPF anyway.
Yeah, don't. If you think of us as your family, this is like an intervention. Be good to yourself. Thank you.
All right, let's move on.
Is this an intervention?
It is. Got called out. All right, so we're going to start talking to Red about the golden times of 2010 to 2013. I'm really excited to learn more because I honestly don't even know what we're going to be talking about. That's how little I know about this section of history.
I know nothing either. I have a paragraph, and I think I read the Hall of Fame when I first joined. Fun fact, Em and I joined in March, April of this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happened. This place has been around since 2007, and Club Penguin's older than that. So where we are right now is a sliver of time. We've barely been here. So 2010, I was really young, still in primary school, whatever.
I was in high school.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, let's not talk about where I was back then. I'm small bean. But we'll be talking about these random people who I don't know who were leaders at the time. And we'll be talking about elections, which were...
Do you want to mention their name?
Yes! I'm emphasizing that they're important, but I don't know who they are. We have Siwin and Super Paco 24 and Zyhan, who that's probably not how you say it. And
well, it's Kuin and Zihan, but we tried.
See, honestly, it makes more sense if Red was to explain who these people, which he will. But we have ATM 23. A little.
I've actually talked to him before.
You have? Wow, I've talked. I don't know who the oldest person I've talked to is. Sylv one time when he recruited me.
Sylv one time.
Shut it if you're a recruit of Sylv. Silverborg. We will get to talking about all these people who I don't know, but clearly are important when Red gets to talk about that.
Okay, let's kick it off and ask Red some questions. Red, do you want to introduce yourself and say anything about how you're relevant to this period before I kick it off with a question?
Well, I think the questions, will explain
Pretty
that well enough. But
okay. Well, the first one is, when did you join RPF?
So this was, unlike many now, I don't have the exact date. Some of you out there have the exact date down in timestamps, but I do not. So I'm gonna not assume. I remember it was cold, and it was still 2010. So I'm gonna say about November-ish of 2010 is when I first joined.
Wow, it's a bit ago. It's 9 years ago.
Pretty cute.
Oh yeah, that was quite a while ago.
The cold streets. Don't say it. What was it like back then? Because obviously we didn't have Discord or anything good. What was all that?
Yeah, no, definitely a time without Discord. So we still used the website. It was still a big hub of information. The website was just as important as it is now, if not more. That was a time when a lot of online gaming groups were oriented through forums. So that was especially big back then. But we did have a chat room, live chat, back in 2010. RPF started. I know I'm not supposed to talk about before my time period, but there was a time.
You're welcome to dip a little bit.
Sneak peek to Origins. We were going to do Origins, so what?
Right. Well, there was a time when RPF didn't have an active chat. People spoke to each other by commenting on the website and hitting refresh a bunch of times. But not my time. I joined when we were nice and new. We did use the Zat chat online chat room.
New online chat room, XAT. Would you like to tell anybody about that who does not know?
Pronounced Zat, not
XAT. XAT. Okay, what can you tell us about?
For the record.
Stop saying it so wrong, Rocket. Zat.
Tomato.
Anyway.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, so most of the ranks today are based off of the system that we had going back then. So there were 3 tiers of members that you can have. Now on Discord, you can make as many ranks as you please, but we had 3 tiers of rankings similar to the current ones today. There were the member ranks, the moderator ranks, and the owner ranks, which are pretty much the member ranks, mod, and HCOM of today. So that's pretty much what the current system of RF is based on, the classic Zat chats. So, but yeah, that was definitely a lot more difficult to use those kind of chats in Discord, especially during events, because the thing about events was you could only have so many people in one Zat chat room at once. So I don't know how many it was. I believe it was like 30-something. So once that was filled up, it went into an overflow room. And so leading events that had anything over 30 people or 30, 40 people in a chat room, you had to have somebody giving orders in the main chat and then go into the second overflow room or even the third overflow room if you're that big and have officers and whatnot speak about that. So that was quite something. It's pain.
That's
Discord
very coordinated.
That sounds like you would need a lot of staff to actually organize that. And this is a bit of a tangent because I'm curious. When was HCOM established? Because even until recently, it was called Owner or something. When was HCOM considered a thing?
High Command. I think that was probably introduced the second iteration of RF 2.0 is when we started referring to things as intercommand, high command, intra-command, things like that. But I don't know exactly when that was.
I remember hearing about Incom. Very interesting concept.
Yes, it was, actually.
So who was the leader when you joined, Red?
When I joined, it was Kuhn, pronounced Kuhn, not Siwan or whatever you said in the beginning.
I'm sorry.
Kuhn. What is that name?
Yeah.
You would know how it...
I don't know, honestly, to tell you the truth. But yeah, he was a good guy when I first joined. I didn't know him very well, but then as I gradually integrated myself into the group, I got to know him, and he was a good guy. He did well leading, considering the time period. I still talk to him now occasionally. I have him on Discord. I think I have him on Skype as well. But
Skype.
Who uses that anymore? It's 20
Skype
years.
Like Instagram.
That irrelevant thing. What was the army like under him?
So back then, it was pretty different compared to things right now. RPF was always a pretty relaxed group. It was a fun chat, regardless of what time period it was. A lot of that changed in 2013, but I'll get into that once we move on to that segment. But it was a very nice, friendly atmosphere. Friendly, yet, still stern. So if you were the type of guy to come in and be a total, excuse me for using the word noob, but, you were whipped into shape, to say the least. But
pretty offensive.
It's almost like we run an army.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm sorry to all of the noobs out there in the crowd that felt that slur.
Yeah.
Slur. We have to censor the podcast. We want to promote a happy environment where people of all levels of experience, whether it's 1 or 50, that you are valid.
I hate the sarcasm in this room.
Yeah, but it was interesting. I think the general age range was a bit higher than it is now, but it's hard to say. That might have just been like the general maturity level, but there were definitely some freak shows. Yeah.
It was older in there?
Was that sarcasm or?
No, I'm genuinely surprised because I think that we have such a wide variety of ages now.
Yeah. Well, of course now there's a serious variety, but I mean, I feel like a bulk is made up of younger teens. I feel, at least that's what I tell from observations. But now I guess it's a bit different. But a few years ago it was primarily children. But yeah, I feel like it was just kind of mid to later teens. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, to tell you the truth, not everybody was sharing their age, and some people lied about it. You know how that goes.
Makes sense.
It's hard to tell, but yeah, we didn't have one thing that we didn't have was very many rules against profanity and things like that. I mean, we had restrictions, obviously. Oh man, I almost forgot to mention. I'll say them a bit about the Zat chats. They were something else back in their day. The way you could, I mean, for the time period, it was pretty cool. You could actually. There was a description underneath the chat itself that you can customize. You can put the rules in there and make it all fancy text. And you could also put in your custom playlists from playlist.com, which is now dead.
Playlist.com.
Sad. That's a throwback right there.
I didn't even catch that. What's playlist.com?
What you could do is you can make a playlist and then
it would go on your MySpace page.
Oh, but you could embed it into the chat room, and whenever somebody joined, it would start playing. And
that's cool.
That was pretty cool. That's something that Discord doesn't have.
That could probably be twisted to something inconvenient.
Yeah. The website, when I joined, was incredible for its time period because most of the websites that other groups used were pretty basic, the front page, and that was it. Great graphics that most groups have today. But the one website that we used that is no longer around, unfortunately, was rpfarmy.com, and that was fantastic because you loaded it up and it would play this video. And I think there was this video and another one. I don't know where the other one's at. I had trouble finding it when I was looking around, but yeah, you came in and it had the video where like the site was loading up and everything. It was cool, to say the least. When you're a young kid and you see that, it's like, damn, this is something else.
Oh. So about these other people, Super Paco, and I'm not even going to try. It's the one with the Z in it. Can you just help me out here real quick, Red?
Z-Hen is how I've always pronounced
so it. Who were these clowns or these leaders, and what did they contribute, at least in your
Super
eyes?
Paco, he was a good guy. He joined for a while. I don't recall what rank he was when I joined, but after Kuhn had stepped down or at least transferred over leadership or had an election. I don't recall exactly what happened. He came into leadership. Zihan was actually a leader before that. He was back in 2007, maybe not 2007, 2008, 2009 period, but he came back and he helped out throughout that time period. But for most of the time that I was in, if it wasn't Kuhn leading, it was Paco. And he was a good guy. I mean, he and Kuhn I saw as, kind of similar personalities in a way. But
Ricky
they
says
both
you're
did
mispronouncing Kuhn.
Kuhn, not correct. Kuhn.
Oh, Kuhn.
Kuhn. Like a Q.
I don't see a Q in there, but
I don't see a Q either, but English is a mysterious and wonky language.
Interesting.
Zihan was a cool guy. He has, unfortunately, we got rid of the quotes page. Is that the RPF? Do you still have that quotes, like memorable quotes on the RPF website?
I don't
like an older version of the
think
scrapbook.
so.
I
No.
don't think so. No, we used to have on the websites, there were like these quotes that we saved that people thought were significant.
I would love to get a quotes page running now.
I have a feeling it would be a bunch of memes now, so I don't know about that one. But yeah, no, Zihan was a good guy, nice German fellow. I liked him. He was around. He was always a good guy, helpful. I talk to him occasionally too. I have him on Skype, but again, nobody uses that anymore.
So you mentioned elections. I love democracy, but what were the elections like, especially the one that you competed against ATM 23 fax machine for?
Also, RPF had elections?
Yeah, that's kind of wonky.
Yeah, so back in the day when we kind of sort of followed the Constitution however we wanted, there's no Constitution today, but Omega wrote one way back in the day.
I do recall looking at that.
It did include elections every so many months, and it had a bunch of other complex parts of it that we didn't always follow, but elections were one thing that we did go and use for some time period. So after Paco had decided that he was going to pass the reins to somebody else, or the time was up, whatever time period that was, an election time rolled around, and the two candidates were ATM and myself. And to tell you the truth, I didn't really want to lead it at that time, but I ran for whatever reason, I don't remember. And almost won unintentionally. But,
unintentionally?
Wow, I almost won the presidency.
Thankfully
Imagine accidentally winning an election.
Ha 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 ha.
Why didn't you want to lead?
At that time, I just wasn't really interested in it. I mean, I've been with the group for a while, but it just wasn't something that... I mean, you always want to work your way up, I guess, when you join for the first time when you're young, but I don't know. It just wasn't something that interested me at that time. Later on, it eventually did.
Okay. And you lost?
Yeah, I did, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Because, I don't know why I was in the running to begin with. I don't know what rank I was. I'm sure that I was some sort of owner rank, second or third in command at that time.
Do you think you would have been prepared mentally? You would have been good at it and it would have been fine? Or
looking back, let me think. How old was I back then? I probably would have been able to do fairly well, all things considered. I mean, the Army did drop off for various reasons that were out of the hands of the people leading at the time, so who's to say that I would have done better under those circumstances than they did.
Fair enough.
Do you have any favorite moments from this period of revival, in a sense?
Favorite moments? Oh man, it's been a long time.
Or favorite,
asking me to dig pretty deep here.
I am asking you to dig down memory lane.
Oh man, I don't know. The website and everything that included was pretty cool to have. Obviously, the playlists, all the music, and just the people in general.
Oh, Worky
Tell
has
them
a
why you
submitted
changed your
question.
name from Red to Red. Ooh,
the two Ds.
I don't know about
Could you
that
explain that?
I can't explain that, to tell you the truth.
Red Gush Rush.
Oh yeah, your old names.
My old name, Red Gush 24. Red Space Gush 24.
Did you like Gushers?
No, I didn't.
So why was your name?
Gush?
Yeah.
People have asked me this, and I have no idea why my name was that. People thought it was from that one, I don't know, some cartoon had like a drink called that, but it wasn't. It was not that. And I tell you the truth, I have no idea where it came from.
Did people ever call you Gush or Rush?
Sometimes people did call me Gush, and I hated it.
What were your least favorite moments?
That's hard. I mean, usually when I try to recall a memory from that far back, you tend to remember the good things, not the bad things. I mean, sometimes there were some people in chat who were jerks, but that happens. So To tell you the truth, I don't have very many bad memories just because it's been a while to remember those.
Did we get any favorite memories from you?
I don't know. I kind of just skimmed over that. What was I going to mention about the website? The playlists were a good part. I enjoyed that. The leadership photos. That was the thing that Worky will remember. He's listening, isn't he? So this was a little bit of an odd thing that they made where they would take various generations or eras of leadership. Say it was like, at this time period, it was like Kuhn, ATM, Paco, and they would take some sort of picture from a game or movie or something like that, where it's just like a bunch of dudes standing in a line and they put their names over it, like poorly cropped on there. If you can find them, they're hilarious because they're like exactly it's something a kid would do, and it's ridiculous. It's pretty funny.
I think I've seen some of those old ones, random Grand Theft Auto members,
right.
and then their names are just photoshopped on top. Also, if you look up a little bit in the chat, Pookie did find the official quotes page, and the first one that I can see is, "Oh, and to Tucker, poop, commando," his last words.
Yeah, it was always good looking through those. I enjoyed that.
Those are funny.
There's some missing on here, or maybe that's just the cropping, but
maybe it's also the age because we don't know what was added after or anything like that.
Yeah, when did you fetch this from? Oh, there's a classic photo right there. GTA bikers, that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly
hilarious.
It. That's so funny. You were probably third in command, second in command?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, there was a bit of a gap when I left towards the end of 2011 when we started going into 2012. There was a time when things got a bit rough, got shaky, and I personally left for a little while. I still popped in every now and again, so I don't quite remember what my rank was towards the end, but I was some sort of owner, I believe, because I came back and I had, some reason to seem relevant.
Worky's not on the podcast because he sucks and denied me more than once.
That's the truth.
Yep. See? He said I'm right. Anyway, the last question I have for you, is there anyone from 2010 to 2012 that has popped up recently for you?
Popped up recently
in RPF, or that you know of that's still around?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of people that are still around. Worky, obviously, he was around during that time. I don't know if he was in the army at that time or he just like kind of hung out and chat. I think he just hung out. Kevin, he's in. I think he's in this Discord. Maybe not, but he went by B Batman back then. Kuhn's in another Discord that we're on. Who else am I missing here? There's a few others. ATM was around. He's still hanging out. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Flappy, she's one. Other than that, I'm not quite sure who I remember.
If you ever see those people around, good names right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, we're going to give you a quick break, and we're going to go to one of our mini segments. Thank you, Red. Go get yourself some water or something.
Oh, well, I'm going to take a quick power nap. Thank you.
Please don't go take a nap. You won't wake up.
Who's saying, well, I'll set an alarm. Don't worry about it.
Okay, for how long?
Okay, maybe I'll just listen in.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going to move on to contests. We just held a contest for server emotes in the RPF Discord. I've lost my co-host for a brief moment. I don't know what happened to him, but we will hope that he comes back soon. Many submissions came in, only 3 people won. And in third place was Rain with a Pikachu meme emote. In second place was Jimmy. He sent in a panicked penguin emote titled No No. And in first place, Crazzy with her accurately named Sad Cry, which she is definitely here. And everyone spamming that makes me so happy. Crazy, you're already unmuted. Welcome to The Good Fight.
What's up?
Hi, welcome to the podcast episode that you yourself worked on.
Yep.
We have a couple of questions for you. Were you expecting to win?
Honestly, no, because I submitted a couple of emotes like as a joke, and we were tallying up results, and I looked in. I was like, "Oh, redacted." I actually won this one. I wasn't expecting it, but it was nice.
And it was a good win. Everyone uses that emote a lot.
Thank you. I actually stole it from my sister's server. So thank you, Sushi.
Yeah, thank you, Sushi. Shout out to Sushi.
Shout out to my sister Sushi.
So actually, when you see Sushi, you should be congratulating and thanking her for your emotes. How many submissions did you enter? Was that the only one?
No, I put in like 3. One of them was a Pepe pumpkin looking thing. And then I was going to put in Homie Kiss, but I refrained. I put another one, but I honestly can't. Oh, wait. I put Ducky Stab. The little, wait, I'll put it in
Oh,
chat.
the lot thing.
It's cute. Yeah, like Lottie.
What was
There
the
we
first
go.
one? Do you have an emote of that one?
It's somewhere in my like folder on my computer. It's some Pepe looking pumpkin thing. I'll take a screenshot.
Sounds cute. Yeah, show us when you get a
Yeah.
chance. You're also recently on the contest team as of this fall. How's that going for you?
It's good. I wanted to join one of the teams, and contests actually had like the most openings. And when I talked to Mishka about it before he retired, RIP, he was more than welcome for me to join it. I didn't rig it. I joined it because Wolves won. ... I'm still salty, but no, I joined it because I don't know. It's interesting. It's pretty laid back compared to other teams. Although I do help out CPR News sometimes.
Did you rig the contest?
I didn't rig the I can't even vote for my own entry.
Does that mean you did vote? You just voted on other
Yeah,
people's?
yeah, that's like it's standard that if you submit it, you can't vote on yourself because we do it like on a rank system. And
That's
I wouldn't
fair.
do that. Not egotistical.
We know. Don't you worry. At least I do. I can't speak for Wolves right now, but...
Thank
Aw.
you.
Oh, welcome back, Rocket.
Oh, thank you. I was inviting a
Okay.
house guest into my house.
Aw.
Hey, Crazy, who wrote these questions for
Me.
you?
Wolves is bad. Just in case he
Thank
wants
you,
to
Ray.
know who's bad mouthing him, it's me. Wolves is smelly. Thank you.
Wolves is
Why
smelly.
am I bad mouthing you? Should I pull up the
He's asking me
costume
why.
contest?
I'm giving you an answer. Yeah, that's right.
I'll pull up the costume
It's out of a
contest.
place of love. Thank you.
Never forget, Wolves can't swim. That's why his last podcast win was completely enveloped in anything that could float.
True.
Because he's smelly and smells and sinks. Because ships that stink and sink Navy bad. Thank you. Did you have inspiration for the emote that... I'm sorry, context is so important. But,
No, it's so funny because Crazy's regulating her own question.
okay, I'm sorry I love you, but do you have inspiration for your quote, sweetie?
Huh?
Did you have inspiration for it?
Yeah, I took it from my sister's server that she actually is the administrator for. Because she always uses it. Thought it was a pretty funny emote. I was like, hey, I finally figured out how to right click on a Mac. So after I figured out how to right click on my Mac, I was like, oh, I can open this file. But yeah, I stole it from my sister. She's not here. I actually told her to leave the room because I was doing something.
I stole your work. Let me plagiarize you.
How many of our contests have you won before?
0.
I'm sorry.
This one.
I've won 0 contests.
Bringing it up. First contest
Sorry to hurt you like this.
First contest I answered, was costume contest in the summer. Not salty or anything, but Wolves won. But no, actually he came in 3rd. But second one, what was it? The I think the roles contest for the seasonal role, and then this one. Fun times. I am slandering.
Sounds good, Chief.
Well, your emote is awesome, and we're excited to have you on the podcast team as well as contest team.
Thank you.
Yes, double love. I also do think this emote is kind of a mood.
It is a mood.
It's good that all moods are being represented.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mute. I'm not meant
Go
to
to
be
bed.
Precious boy. No, let him stay up. He loves this team. Like,
No.
we love him.
He needs to be asleep.
No, he doesn't. I know I was talking
Anyway.
about IO is more important, but Chaos needs to be here.
Everyone give a big hand. Lots of claps in chat for Crazy.
I was going to give her a big hand. I was really about to do that.
Do it. Thanks for coming. The emoji contest is over. It sucks. Contest is over. But guess what? There's always more contests.
Because the contest team is really important.
So right now, R&M is holding a Halloween costume contest.
Oh
The rules are simple.
You can dress up your penguin in the spookiest outfit, which can also be Swamp Monster with mascara. That's okay. Just send a screenshot of it to any of the contest team members.
Make it ugly. Make it beautiful. Just make it spooky. Submission's going to be judged based on originality, creativity, and how well it fits the theme. And you have to make your screenshot include your username, so you can only use Club Penguin written. And any other CPBS won't be counted.
Only submit one outfit, please. Just one.
Top 3 winners will be awarded Tatsumaki credits, and the largest winner will be rewarded a special role of designer in the chat
I
in
want all
RPF.
the wins. The deadline is the day after Halloween, which makes sense because this is a Halloween contest. Please make sure to realize that before you go trick-or-treating to say, I forgot to submit my Halloween costume for the Rebel Penguin Federation costume contest. Let me go do that before I get a bunch of Kit Kat bars.
I mean, what's more important, really? A Club Penguin costume contest or...
Reese's best candy. Chaos, go to bed!
These are up there. I think they're probably both pretty good.
All right. Red, are you asleep?
Just woke up.
I'm sorry
Very
I had to
good.
be your alarm, but I need to make sure that you're up.
Pay attention.
We left off with Red talking about 2012, and we're going to wrap that year up. 2012 is known in RPF history as the Dark Times because a lot went down where it was a very fitting name for it. There was the historic fight between 2 leaders, a lot of leadership changing, and RPF merged back into UMA for a little while, which is wild because I don't think a lot of us knew that we were literally a part of UMA for a while again. We split off of UMA originally.
That was why we were the rebels for a reason. We did rebel, in fact.
Am I wrong?
No, you're
UMA.
right.
What is wrong with UMA?
We choose which acronyms we say and which ones we enunciate.
Listen, the reason I said UMA is because at my school there's a University of Museum of Art, and it's called the UMA.
Well, I don't. Your localization and your ideas are welcome here. It's UMA.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
You fully apologize.
Anyway,
I'm just proving a point.
RPF was merged back into the UMA, which we will talk about with Red. Let's get back to it.
The Red. Also, hi. Why was it called the Dark Time?
It was really dark. It was always cloudy.
Rocket, I'm going to fire you if you can't get yourself together.
What you consider to be a dark age, I guess, is subjective. Worky was around for like a lot longer than I was, and I don't know how much he was around during that year, but it was not the entire year wasn't a mess, but for a good portion of it, it was pretty messy. See, I don't know exactly what happened because after ATM won the elections, he and another fella named Tao led for a while, and after that, Kuan came back for a little while. A bit of a falling out occurred, and I'm not exactly sure what caused the spiral downwards, but things got pretty rough, and the army got passed around like it was a hot potato.
One of those hops would be to UMA, as we correctly pronounced it. Why did this happen?
Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't even aware of that until a while ago. I think that was just a move by one of the people who happened to be a leader at the time. I mean, there was no real elections going on. There was no like official selecting of leaders of any sort. People just kind of came and went and took over the army. A big thing about the chats that we used was they weren't as secure as the Discord servers are, or they were fairly secure. But throughout those few years, there were a lot of different chats we went through. I mean, there were at least like, I don't know, 20 would be an understatement. Random chats that had like, they were called RPF Army, RPF Rebel Fed Army, whatever it was. So it was hard to find one chat that was the correct one. Plus the same thing happened with websites. People made a bunch of those because, they were a dime a dozen. It wasn't hard to make one.
Do you have an estimate of how many people did take over at that time?
I don't have an estimate, man, because so many of it was, I wouldn't even consider half of them to be official. Like,
So people just took charge when they wanted to?
Pretty much. That's what I got out of it.
Huh.
Were you a leader at all during that era?
No, I wasn't around much during that era. I mean, I was popping in, trying to follow where it was going, but I wasn't at all during that time.
We have averages of up to maybe like 70 a week on our best events. What were we averaging at that time?
Well, I mean, anywhere from 5 to 15, maybe.
We look like Pizza Federation out here.
Yeah, right.
Did past leaders like ATM and, let's see if I can do this, QAnon?
You're doing that intentionally now.
Huan.
I'm gonna hold that against you for the rest of your life.
Why is his name so difficult?
Em, I'm gonna have to fire you if you can't get back on track here.
Hey, Red, say cinnamon.
How about no?
Wait, does Red say it in a funny way?
No,
I
but
say it
sometimes
fine.
I can confuse him. It's fine.
Get him on.
Anyway, did leaders such as those help RPF out of the Dark Age, or was it being propelled by vets? What got us
I wouldn't
out?
say. I don't know if it was propelled by vets. I mean, some of them came back here and there, people who were in the army, and they tried to clean things up. But I don't think many managed to do that with any real success. And ATM, Kuhn, they were around slightly, but I'm sure they noticed that it was a mess as well, and they just wanted to, keep things on track. But I'm sure it didn't go very well.
Yikes. And with all of that, were you around for them fighting? Did that, and if you were, how did that
I
go?
wasn't. I wasn't around for that much, actually.
Oh. Did you, what do you know about it?
To tell you the truth, not much. I mean, I was never a fan of drama, so I never really paid much attention to it. I figured that, when you're at rock bottom, you can't get any lower, so I figured we'd eventually come out of it, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me.
That's a good mindset. I would agree with that. Going on with what you said, how did we get out of it? How did we revive ourselves, even, as you would say?
So for kind of like late 2012, I wasn't around for that period, but I came back around maybe like winter time of 2013, so like January, February. And I was maybe a bit later than that, March perhaps, and I was just kind of hanging out, looking around. And when I got back, it was this fella named Qwerty who was in charge. And he had a weird rank. I don't remember the name of it, but it was some sort of like supreme leader type rank, which we never had in the past. We had a leader, and there was never anything above that. And so when I joined, I eventually rejoined. I was like, okay, things look relatively stable. We have a website, we have a chat, we know which one it is, and people are there frequently. So I rejoined, and I guess I was able to work my way into leader at that point. But he was still above me, I guess, because I questioned what it was that, like what the rank was and how he got into that position. He said, yeah, Commando gave it to me. He said it was going to be all right. I don't know. I just imagine him as a scumbag.
That's accent. Don't be mean.
That's accent.
What's wrong with the accent?
Who are you impersonating?
Chaos.
Qwerty, I believe I'm impersonating. I mean, I'm sure he didn't sound like that, but whatever.
That's
I mean,
okay,
this guy he was
you.
a sketchy fella. I mean, I've never heard of him before that time, and I'm sure he was just one person who came and picked up the RPF name and tried to run with it. So when I was there at that point, this was maybe like March, April, I led underneath him for a while because there was nothing I can do. He had the website, he had the chat, and eventually we began to notice this guy was off his rocker. He was pretty crazy, and I forget what the tipping point was, but he made some sort of ridiculous post on the website, and I got together with my fella, Sir Proditor. I've known him for a long time. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Proditor. I'll type in chat. I know I've been yamming on you for mispronouncing names, but I honestly...
Oh,
how do you pronounce that?
That looks familiar.
Proditor?
I'd say Proditor.
Proditor? Yeah. Anyway, I talked to him, and we were like, okay, well, we need to get a different website. We need to get rid of this guy.
Proditor is CPAN head of press. I work with him.
He's active?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's around now, too.
Dang.
Yeah, he's hanging out.
I just talked to him earlier. But,
he's a cool guy.
Yeah. But luckily, Zihen came back at the right time. And he was like, I told him what was going on. And he was like, oh, hey, well, I've got a website for you. And so he gave me access to that. It's privated now, so I can't send it to you. It still exists, but it's privated, and I can't unprivate it. So, I mean, I could take some pictures of it later, but we got our hands on that. We got rid of him. And so we started to fix things up a bit then. One thing I should mention about like 2010 onward until 2013 was that we didn't have branches. There just wasn't enough demand for them. There wasn't enough people in the Army itself to sustain like Air Force, Navy, whatever it may be. But he gave us a copy of the old rank system that included ranks for each of those. And so we put those to use in 2013, which I guess we'll get to in a minute. But we eventually managed to get the Army back on its feet during that time. I led for like a little while, and then Commando got a hold of me one day, and he was like, "Hey, I see you got a nice website there. I'll do you one better." And he gave us the original website that we used back in 2007 to 2009, RPF rulers. We used that for a while, like in recent years as well. But so we got our hands on that, and that was nice because, it was difficult compared to the other armies. Other armies had the same website that they were using for years, and it was hard to recruit because you have people look you up, and if your website's on like the 4th page of Google, you're not going to be found. So this was really nice because it had several million views, and so we managed to get the ball rolling again with that, and gradually we saw it increase from 5 to 10, 15 to 30 again, and so it was starting to get better. It came out of the dark ages.
Do you think recruiting, was it a different kind of dynamic back then? Were people more or less hesitant to join, or was it, a link, I'll click it? Did people just kind of accept things faster?
Back on regular Club Penguin, when you saw a large group like that, people immediately thought, "Oh, these guys are a bunch of bots," or something like that. Groups naturally would appear.
Man's not bots.
Man's not bots. Rainbow emote on 3. Don't do J. Sorry, force of habit. What? That's what we do. Cute F6 typing that in chat.
Red, did you play a role in the transition to a less chaotic RPF?
I mean, I'm sure that eventually someone would have came along and revived the army and taken it away from whatever that fella was, whoever he was. He I don't know, he disappeared after we kicked him out. But I'm sure somebody would have came along. But I think that I would like to think that Zihen, Predator, and I did manage to yank him out of that time.
So we have some good news and some bad news. Good news being we do have some answers from last week's Tropawek. A random owl. Claps up for random owl getting Tropawek last week. Why don't I shift it over to 3 Tadpoles, the current Tropawek. Tadpoles, hi. I'm sorry that I just denied you being alive. Welcome to the good fight.
Everyone clap.
Okay. Welcome. Someone please unmute. Yay!
Hello!
Hi! Welcome to the good fight. You're here. That's very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. I guess. I don't know what to say.
What do you
That's
mean,
okay.
I guess? We're happy to have you.
We're happy to have one of 2 Tropaweks here. This is exciting. And almost as exciting as getting Tropawek. How did you expect to get it when you did, as of 3 days ago?
I did not expect it at all. When I was actually hyping with the chat too, and I just when I typed in my message for hype, I realized my name was Pink, and it was really hype. It was really cool. My heart was beating really fast, and my face was really red because I was blushing so much.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had more of a reaction in comparison to when someone confessed to me.
Oh my gosh, this is adorable.
But thank you so much.
Throw back to Moon getting Tropawek, saying, "I'm not going to get Tropawek," and then saying it as Tropawek. Do you remember the first person that congratulated you on Tropawek, other than you seeing it for yourself?
Honestly, probably not. I think I would say the first person that caught my eye was probably maybe Tulia, because she added me. But a lot of people added me at the same time. So, I don't know. I love you all. So, thanks everyone that said congratulations. That was very sweet.
Awesome.
How long has it been since you joined?
Since late August, at least in the post. That's what it said. So,
Going off of the post of your own history.
Yeah.
I like it. I joined Check's post about late August.
Yeah. Sure. I've been in, or I guess I'm exposing myself, but I've been involved in RPF previously, so under a different name. So,
Tadpoles is El Mikey confirmed?
Oh, no.
No, Chaos, go to bed. Why are you here?
Don't know, I'm sorry.
You literally told me you wouldn't. Everybody yell at Chaos to go to bed.
Chaos, we love you, but you need to go to sleep, you disgusting EU boy. Thank you.
If I had known that you would have been here, you would be hosting. My goodness.
Don't replace me yet. I'm beautiful.
As the chat riots for Chaos's health.
No, against it. There's a lot of people saying "Stay awake, idiot." Thank you, Bromley.
Anyway, did we talk about how you have good reasons for being Troop of the Week?
Oh,
Did that make sense?
Oh,
Good. Thank you, Chaos. What would you think is especially one of the reasons you got Troop of the Week?
oh.
Yes.
Personally, I was not expecting it at all. I don't talk a lot in chat. I'm often lurking, so I definitely thought other people were going to get it. But I guess what got me over the edge was that I woke up at 4 a.m. to go to Ossia because I love you, Ossia Division. We gotta rise up. I'm sorry, I'm really awkward. I'm sorry.
It's all
you're
good.
great, Tadpoles. Don't even worry.
I'm a mess. Don't worry. We're just having fun here.
I also I really like doing art too, and I would love if people want some art of their penguin Sona. I'm doing quotation marks. I would love to draw them.
That would actually be awesome. We do have a fan art channel in the RPF server and a regular art channel in Main Hub if you would love to post those things, because I surely would love to see them. So that is awesome. Yes, post more art. Also, Inktober is still going on for all of you who are unaware. That gives you a prompt every day for doing stuff. So shout out to Inktober for being a thing.
Yes,
Shout out
everyone
to
should check the art channel. Starship has been posting her Inktober
Starship is a
everyday
very
drawings,
talented
and they're very beautiful. Everyone should check them out, as
Yeah.
well as everyone else's art. They're all very beautiful.
So wholesome. I appreciate that. Is there anyone you couldn't have gotten TOTW without? Someone that was crucial in your quest for Tropowek?
Pardon?
Who was important to you in getting Tropowek? Who was like a supporter or a mentor or just people you looked up to?
Definitely, if you look at my speech in announcements, I did my homeboy Pookie first.
Ooh.
He was the one that pushed me to be Troop of the Week, and he is my biggest inspiration, as well as Alti Penguin J, who recruited me, has been my friend for the past several years. So,
Aw.
thank
Utility
you guys.
Penguin Jonathan. What a good friend.
Was it hard to write your speech?
Oh my gosh. Yes, for sure. I know a lot of people, I'm very awkward in talking, so I don't talk a lot. And a lot of people were pushing me to write my speech, so I just wrote something up really quick. And I wish I mentioned a lot more people. I would go back and edit it, but I don't know if it'll ping them again. But the one thing that I really wanted to push in my speech was that Troop of the Week is something that the whole army kind of pushes, and I would not have gotten Troop of the Week if it was not for the whole army, because everyone is just so kind and they really push the troop to be its greatest. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Tadpoles,
I love
your
that answer.
art of my penguin was so wild. It was
yeah.
so good.
I'm a really big anime fan, so anime
so
art.
Anime is fire. This is a fact.
Tadpoles is a really good ad. Who recruited you?
Ulti. Or I guess if we were talking about back in the day, I would say a bot. Or
A bot.
Mikey.
Oh Mikey! My boy.
No, but we're going to give Alti credit for dragging you here because we now get to benefit from your presence.
I know you wanted to say hi to a lot of people, but was it difficult to acknowledge, especially in announcements where everyone can see it, being Tropowek?
Oh, actually, when I was writing my speech, I was consulting Alti because I haven't talked to a lot of people, I definitely remember when I say hello to someone and when I have a really short conversation with them, but I don't know if they remember me, so I just mentioned a bunch of people. I'm sorry if you got pinged and you didn't want to get pinged. I don't know.
Everyone loves getting pinged. Oh my gosh. There's no need to apologize.
Honestly, Tadpoles, I felt super honored when I saw that ping. I was very surprised that I even made an impression on you because I know about you. I think you're cool. I know everyone thinks you're cool. So
Oh my gosh, everyone is so sweet. Go back and ping so much more people. I totally forgot, and it was just so frantic.
It is okay.
Like,
It is okay.
give
Yeah.
Tadpole's announcement perm so she can just ping a bunch of people.
Let her do round 2 of pings.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chungus, if you're ever gonna listen to the recording, I love you. And poor Richard, you're pretty cool too.
Poor Richard! I will tell him that you shouted him out. Poor Richard is very cool. And Chungus. Where is Chungus at? The question of the hour. Chungus is
shout
not
outs.
according to Wolves.
Chungus, they said hi to me when I never talked in chat, so I love you.
What a moment. Wolves is very happy. Where did Chungus go? Chungus. Wolves is having a sad hour over there. Poor boy.
This was a lovely conversation. Tadpoles is great. If you don't know our current troop of the week, you should get to know her. She's pretty cool.
Please talk to her. She would love to hear from you.
As you can hear.
Sorry, I'm not very good at talking, so...
No, you're
That is
doing
okay.
awesome.
No, you did great. Everyone, we love having you on here. So
okay,
wholesome.
good. My heart is beating really fast right now, actually.
It's okay.
You've done wonderfully.
It's just RF people here and smelly old wolves. It's okay.
Oh.
And smelly old wolf who lives under the bridge. It was wonderful talking to you, Tadpoles. I think we're going to close out this segment. Oh, we're not going to close out completely. We're going to read off Owl's answers. But everyone,
claps for...
get some claps for Tadpoles. And Tadpoles, can I get a fight the good fight?
Oh, yeah. Fight the good fight.
You
Thanks
heard
guys
that?
for having
She said
me.
it. Propaganda machines, do your work.
Fight the good fight. Right. Closing out on Tadpoles here.
Okay, thank you.
Much. I'm a little sad now. All right, now we'd like to move on to talking about a random owl who did submit their answers but was not present to give their interview today. We are deeply sad for that. I will now do an eloquent reading of Owl's answers. So, a starter, were you expecting to get Tropowek? Absolutely not, at least when I got it a few months down the road. Yes, I was figuring I would get it eventually, but the timing of it, I was not expecting whatsoever.
When Troop of the Week was announced, were you in chat, or did you only find out after people started pinging you? Owl's answer. I was actually just getting home with my mother from carrying in groceries, so I was not in chat. But I knew something was up when I got like 8 pings in 20 seconds, so definitely found out through pings.
Do you remember who the first person to congratulate you was? I believe Lot may have been the first person to congratulate me through the RPF main chat, but in DM, I believe Mochi may have been the first person to congratulate me, but things were such a blur I could be completely wrong.
How long has it been since you joined? I joined September 1st, but only began to be active around late September.
See, even she knows her date, right? Come on, Red. What do you think is especially one of the reasons you got Tropowek? Answer, definitely good attendance to events and high chat activity. Nice. Is there anyone, especially that you didn't think you could have gotten Tropowek without? That's a very, very difficultly worded question. And then probably MC Moon Emoji, who helped me break out of my shell to the server, but also Mochi, Lottie, Yami, and many others who talked to me and encouraged me to be active in chat and attend events. I'm sorry, I'll have to leave. I have just been banned for saying Tropowek too many times. I had a good fight.
Yeah, that shout out, I remember reading it on the Owl's speech, and I came home to it and was so touched. That was Owl's had a really good speech.
The light of my life.
Was it hard to write your speech? Yes, it was hard to write my speech. I was emotional. I had no idea what to say, what was happening at the moment, and I had so many people I wanted to mention. Owl's so sweet.
That's lovely. Do you have any advice for troops listening on how to get Tropowek? Just be active, be friendly, attend events, recruit if possible, and treat people like family. If your heart's in the right place, you'll get it one day. That is so wholesome. Everyone give a hand and clap applause thing for Owl. Yeah, there we go. Delicious.
Thanks to our troops of the week, and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to our next segment with Red, and this is our final major segment. We left off talking about 2012, so we're going to wrap that year up.
We're going to be using Red as a history textbook as we open them up again. Yikes. To page 23. So after the dark times, what I meant to say after which, before I had done earlier, I said that El Mikey and Commando 717 rejoined the army and quote, quote, revived it. And during this time, my precious boy Red became a big boy leader. Let's get to it. What was it like for them to return, as I meant to have said before?
Well, let's see. Commando came back first, and when I was leading back in whatever month it was, I believe it was April when he came back, and he gave us the website, and that was obviously a big deal. I explained earlier, and as soon as we got that website going again, he was around to advise a bit, but it's not like he rejoined. He wasn't terribly active. I mean, he's more active than he is right now. But oh, yep, nice icon.
Red Gush 24. Red
terribly
Gush first joined the RPF in 2012. Alongside the likes of Commando, Shad, and Lord Payne, he helped revive the RPF in early 2013 and helped plant the seeds for RPF's second golden age. Red Gush led on a consistent basis for the rest of 2013, helping lead the RPF through the Nacho War and Christmas chaos. He was also democratically elected to be the vice president of the US RPF. He worked with the US RPF president at the time to help guide RPF on a healthy path despite having a heavily unstable ownership.
Man, there's an error in the first sentence. But whatever. Yeah, Commando was as helpful as he can be. Oh, he did give us some very nice graphics at the beginning of that. That was the first time.
Graphics.
Yeah, the first time when we got the original website back, that was the first time that we really had custom-made graphics that weren't just, copy-pasted. The regular, what would you call them, sprites, I guess, from the game. Like, he drew them out, and it was, I guess we were the first group to really, have something that nicely done, I would say. So our website, when that was first released, was pretty big. But I think it was because we started using that website that Elm eventually found the group again. He obviously wasn't around for a period of like 6 years. And one day I was just checking the website and I looked in the comments and I saw him, and it was his actual account, and he was like, "Hello, I am Emcee. I would like to rejoin from my former position of second in command." And I was like, "Oh, interesting. Very interesting." And I had to make sure that he was the real guy, and once I talked to him, I was like, "Okay, seems like the real deal." And I don't think I brought him on I'm not sure, because he was an advisor at some point while I led, and I'm not sure if I brought him on as either a second in command or advisor initially, but either way, he rejoined, and he revolutionized the recruiting game, to say the least. But prior to 2013, the recruiting was pretty bland. I mean, not a lot of people went in game and recruited, partially because you didn't get a lot of people that way. A lot of people did it on like other chats for the game, and the recruiting was difficult back then. But he eventually came along and was like, "Hey, why don't we just do it in game?" And it's like, "Okay, that's not a bad idea."
So then you basically began the practice of what we do now. Hey, you want to join a cool group?
Yeah, but it was done in a perhaps less honorable way. Auto-typers. But the thing is, you have to
forgive us our auto-typing.
Everybody hates on that, but you have to understand that the filter in the game was so ridiculous back then that you couldn't possibly go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, want to join the group?" Because like half of what you'd say would get blocked, and you'd have no way of knowing if it actually went through. So, I mean, getting auto-typers was probably the best thing that happened to armies at that time, despite it being, questionable, I guess you could say. And it was annoying, and, people didn't like it, but it definitely revolutionized the game, the CPA game, I guess you could say. But, yeah, so when he rejoined, it was a big help, considering, he brought along the auto-typer idea. And eventually, he started being incredibly active and helpful, and I was like, "Okay, well, you're going to be a leader with me." And that was the first time in a while that there was more than one leader, other than like the 2012, which we don't talk about. So, yeah, I forget when that was. It was probably like early June, if not like April time, that I brought him on as a leader with me, and things started to pick up again. so many hours were put into just writing out lines for those auto typers. It was ridiculous. But yeah, it was, definitely a help that those two came back when they did.
After they joined, did RPF do better overall?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as we got rid of the terrible website that we were using, things started to improve. We started to see like better sizes immediately. And when Emcee joined in particular, that's when we really stepped up our recruiting game. And that's when we got into some sizes that were not seen in RPF for years before.
What was your favorite part of leading, or least favorite?
Well, I'll tell you the least favorite was definitely making the stupid lines for the autotypers, because there were some downsides to using that, because, as we used it, more and more words got filtered. And so throughout that summer, it became incredibly difficult to recruit. Like now it's easy because, relatively easy. You can go up to somebody and say, a pretty complex sentence, but then you could say short phrases, and, a lot of words were banned. So if you had like one word, there was some point in 2013 where the word or the 3-letter combination RPF was banned in the game.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's still banned.
It's still banned. Thank you, CPR admins, for not.
Oh, is it? No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, they've cracked down more than you've ever believed.
You can say it in the middle of a sentence.
You can say
say
rebel if you can say rebel picking federation if it's not by itself.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time. That was the first time the game, like, CP armies had like a big impact on the filter, because everybody started to autotype. But yeah, that was probably one of the worst parts about it, because you'd have to have a friend come on so you can test your lines to make sure they showed up, and then you'd have to get a good combination, and then you have to sit there for hours and just let your computer run. That was a pain. But there were better parts of it too.
I do recall having to do that sometimes for events that we led occasionally. That is a lot of fun, just to brainstorm stuff.
Are there any specific moments from your leadership you'd redo if you could?
Ooh, well, it's hard to say looking back, because RPF is doing pretty well right now. Doing very well.
So it obviously ended well.
Yeah, it did. So, the thing is, like, there was a big change in the general population in 2013 compared to the years prior, because the people that were leading with me, Elm, and whoever else was in the ownership at that time, they were in support of having a more restrictive chat, so less profanity, and they got really strict about that. And it started to feel less like the group that I joined. It was like a fun atmosphere where you can talk about whatever with anybody. Granted that it was fairly appropriate, and it started to get people talked about the game more often, which I wasn't necessarily interested in. I liked the group itself. I liked the community. And so that was, and, some people who were in RPF, Kevin in particular, give me a lot of flack for not having prevented the, I guess what you could say, the, I don't know how to phrase it. I guess, used to be a PG-13 thing, and now it's not. And, I got a lot of flack for not preventing that. But if I could have somehow,
In what direction do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
Got worse or better?
What got worse or better?
More censored or less censored? Did the rating get looser?
Oh, no. It got more censored in 2013 than it was in previous years.
And they didn't like that?
Some of the older veterans did not like that. Personally, I understood why. We're getting people off the game who are younger, and I understood the importance of it. But there was a point where it was getting kind of ridiculous, and I wish I could have held back on that a bit. But in retrospect, it worked out, I guess.
Well, it has definitely created a different kind of environment, and I think that most of our current residents, troops, are okay with it. So don't beat yourself up too much. What was your favorite part of leading?
Ooh,
because leading was different back then, yeah?
Somewhat, yeah. There were different... talk about the adult diapers thing.
What is that?
This was probably actually one of the favorite parts that I ever had. So, when Emcee joined, a lot of the community, the game community, the CPA community, did not like him at all. RPF did really well, and all the other armies were kind of scrambling to catch up with the new methods that we used. And he had a very interesting personality, to say the least. Now he's known as kind of like a bad guy, but I mean, back then he was a good guy. I had conversations with him. He was a cool guy, but he was disliked by a lot of the community. And one time, somebody, I forget who it was, I believe Puckley from the Nachos or somebody from there, decided to send a shipment of adult diapers to his house. And I don't know I think he used them, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure he said that he was going to use them.
We use them how?
Well, do I need to go further, Em?
No. What? That's
yeah,
pretty funny.
everybody essentially said that he had no life because he was just constantly recruiting. And so he's like, hey, man, you won't have to get up to go to the bathroom anymore. Just use these.
Excuse me for not assuming that someone was going to use adult diapers he didn't actually ask for. So he could have used them in lots of ways. People get creative.
Sure. But
anyway, who else did you lead with?
Throughout that summer, the summer of 2013, throughout most of the year, it was just Elm and I. However, when we reintroduced time zones, when the various time zones got more, I guess you could say, populated, then we had to bring on some other leaders for those specific regions. So we had a EU and I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm not going to try. So
Aja?
Aja? Is that really how you pronounce it?
That's how I pronounce it.
I guess that's right. I don't know. I've never actually pronounced it in my head. I mean, I've always just kind of said Asia. But
I think it's Aja.
Aja makes sense. But
I'm
yeah,
getting agreement.
We had leaders for those respective regions, although they were kind of like second in command positions back then. That changed towards the end of the year, but yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was that led. The EU division was what's his name? Sir PJ. He was a good guy.
I have heard that name before, yes.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. He did well. And then
isn't this the person that recruited Pookie?
Apparently so. A variety of Aja leaders. Abenhav was one of them, but I think he came on later. I'm not exactly sure who they all were.
I've seen him in RPF chat before. He jumps in very rarely.
Yeah.
I want to go back just a little bit. Did you actually say your favorite part of leading, other than the adult diapers?
Oh man, that was a highlight for sure. But I mean, I enjoy just the community aspect of it all. I liked being able to help people out because I understood that when I joined initially when I was younger, I knew what about the group made it appealing, and I enjoyed trying to make it appealing for other people. I tried to make it as enjoyable as possible for the new people that came in, despite people saying, oh, well, it's a game, but it's like, okay, yeah, but, they can have a good time, and just trying to help them out in any way that I could was enjoyable enough, I guess. What a cheesy answer.
Did you have any least favorite parts of leading?
Yep, definitely making the recruiting lines and implementing them. It was a pain.
Well, you did great.
It was a snooze, but thanks.
So what wars were fought in this time period, and can you tell us what we won and what we lost?
Ooh, well, there were a few. I mean, the biggest one of the summer of 2013, that's when we hit our, peak size, I think, was during the summer. The biggest war was with the Nachos. They were doing pretty well. Yeah, RPF versus Nachos war. It was definitely a historic war.
Was Kev leading opposite you? Cassie asks.
It wasn't. No, Kev wasn't in charge. Puckley was one of the main leaders, and then there were a few others as well. But I think Kevin was with them. I don't know if he was actually in the group, but he was, running with them at that time. Tanner, Billy Mays, yeah, Nickwin, that's right.
Billy Mays.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
But that was definitely one of the bigger armies, the bigger wars of that time period. That was when we hit our some of the sizes that CPA hadn't seen before outside of like exclusive events that were, massive reunions and whatnot. We had like a 3-day streak where we had sizes from anywhere to like 75 to 100, which was,
Whoa,
quite considerable for that time period.
That was
voice crack. You've got me talking for like 15 hours, pal.
Red is really doing it for us, so you can't make fun of him right now after this long hour and a half of him just talking nonstop. He's given us a lot of really cool information. I have learned a lot. I don't know about you guys. Nachos was the big one. Also, we saw that list earlier of heroes, and we saw our current Rebel Commander Alti in those ranks. And we're assuming he's a little different than he is now, considering age and everything like that. What was he like back then?
Well, unfortunately, he wasn't, during the time that I was leader, he wasn't I didn't get the opportunity to interact with him on a personal level too much. I did talk to him occasionally from what I remember. He might remember more about that, honestly, than I would, but I do recall him being a good troop, though, to say the least.
Check that relic of a screenshot.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't come. I had Bible study. It just goes to show how much of an innocent boy he was back then.
He was so small. Did you know Pookie, too?
No, I didn't, honestly. Don't even remember him.
I
didn't believe him when he said he was around back then.
Oh my god!
He has such a generic name. Who's going to remember that?
Can you keep flaming Pookie?
Yeah, he has a stupid profile picture, and his name is Garbage.
Okay, I'm satisfied. Anyway, 2013. What a precious relationship. 2013 also brought Twitchy, who is our RF Chief Administrator of the Rebel Federation, the main gaming community that we're a part of, for those who may not know that. What was he like back then as well?
Oh, I do remember him being around, though. I actually talked to him on a couple occasions. Well, more than a couple occasions, but I did talk to him more than I had the chance to talk to Ulti, I think. He was an ambitious boy, to say the least. He was always, when am I going to get promoted? one of those people, from what I remember. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, he was a good guy. He did well for his position.
Is that it? I want more juicy details.
I don't know. Juicy details. This is how many years ago?
This was 2013, so we're at the 6-year mark at this point. Cut Red slack? Never.
Yeah, cut me some slack. Is Prod in here? Yes,
he is.
People still know you. I gave you a big shout out earlier.
And you apparently really helped Red out at one point. Pro. He says no. We just wanted to give you that shout out. How did RPF fare after you stepped away from leadership, though?
Well, it was stepped away from leadership. I mean, I did that a few times. I was on and off. I mean, I kind of got busy, and I was kind of less interested in it. I was kind of just focusing on my life at that point. So I kind of followed them throughout 2013 after I technically retired. And I think January 1st of 2014 is when I officially said I'm out, permanently. And after that, I mean, they did well. Emcee, we obviously made a structure in 2013 that still continues today. We brought back the branches at that point, and we set up a recruiting model. Emcee to thank for that largely. So really, what we were concerned about mostly was, would people be able to keep the recruiting game up? And for the most part, I think they were. After I left, I wasn't sure too much of what happened. I wasn't around the whole time, but I'm sure they did fine, I'm
sure they did fine. You sound like a father watching his son move away. I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Girl ain't lit.
Okay, last question in these last 2 minutes of our episode. You're an RPF icon. Tell us about when you got it, why you got it, who gave it to you.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't think you should get me started talking about this because I've got a lot of bad things to say, personally, because the first line of mine is incorrect, but whatever. I don't actually remember when I got it. I don't remember.
You joined in 2010.
Yeah.
Hey, Pookie, go fix that.
I'll have to read through that. I'll have to reread that because, it's fairly accurate despite the first line being bad. But I don't remember when I got it or why I got it. I mean, to tell you the truth, most of the legends and icons it was kind of it was just decided based on, whoever was leader at the time, and they came together and said, were these people from this era significant, and did they do well enough? And I guess whoever made the call thought I was. So there's that.
So we've covered pretty much everything in the past that I wanted to talk about. Before I ask this, is there anything past-wise that you want to discuss or think would be worth mentioning?
We've always had the greatest website in all of the armies, everywhere. Since the beginning of time, we've always had the greatest websites. That should be known. Other than that, I'm not really sure what you'd want to hear.
In that case, I will instead ask you, how was coming back to RF? Why did you come back to the Rebel Federation and start the Minecraft division?
Well, I followed the group for a while. When it transferred over to Discord, that was a big deal. And oh, look at that, Nickwin and Lights. I remember both of those guys. Good guys.
Nickwin is literally in chat right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that.
I remember him.
I followed the group for a while, and the fact that it managed to stay afloat after so many years was pretty significant to me, especially considering its origins were of, kind of a goofy place when you think about it now in the grand scheme of things. But, there were always good people who I followed. Moon, I loved talking to him whenever I came on around him. I wouldn't have known him if I didn't follow him around on whenever he was around in RPF. So, and we had discussed ideas of starting a group like RF in the past. And, I've worked with Commando before. We ran the CPA map when it first came out in 2016, I think. And so, I worked with these fellas before. And it was a good time. And I thought, you know what? The game's not going to be around forever. I'd like to be a part of, making this into something bigger than just one game community. If it could be something bigger than that, that'd be great. And, I wanted the community to live on. So that's kind of what I wanted to see happen with RF. And I thought the Minecraft division was a good way to expand.
And it's doing pretty well for itself, considering.
All things considered, yes.
The king of Minecraft over here. Once a leader and still leading on into the future. All right. I think those are all of the questions I have for you, and wraps up the final segment here. Red, you have been a champion. Thank you so much for doing this for us.
I'm going to have to pass out pretty soon. Been up for 35 hours.
You deserve some sleep, especially after this. I really appreciate it. Everyone should definitely be applauding Red in chat right now. Give him a big hand for all that he's informed us of and wasted his voice on us. Standing ovation. Thank you again for coming, Red.
No problem.
So to wrap up, thank you everyone for coming to the podcast. I really appreciate having all of you here. You keep us going. You're the reason that all of this is happening. I'm glad that you guys find all of this interesting and want to hear about this stuff just as much as I do. It makes the effort we put into it worth it. I'm going to do a special shout out to Pookie right now because he put this episode together all last night with the large assistance of Cassie. I had to leave this weekend and been difficult with guests, and when I told Pookie that I wasn't going to have time to throw a podcast episode together in a night like I have done in the past, Pookie was like, I'll do it. And he really stepped up, so appreciate that. And Cassie wrote the majority of the script with a lot of new help from Crazzy. I've been really appreciative of the team today. The team. Announcements include that the suggestion box is still up in pins in the Hangout chat. Please suggest whatever you can. Give us feedback on this episode specifically. I like it when people do that, and I really appreciate and honestly beg you to do that because we want to hear what you guys want to hear, and that helps us tailor our episodes. And otherwise, I'm just going to do whatever I want. So fight the good fight. And then next episode, I'm hoping to be a continuation of the history series. So we'll see what happens. There are lots of ideas for what we could do in the future. Let me know what you want to hear. We're thinking 2014 plus. If you want to ask Red any questions yourself, stick around for that. In addition to that, I'm going to be announcing something special. If you want to stick around after the music, I'm going to be announcing a cool special thing. If you want to know what that is, you'll hang out for a sec after the music. But first of all, Twitchy, can you please tell me what we do around here?
Fight the good fight!
Hello everyone, this is DJ Funky Fresh coming at you with the fresh beats as always. Today we have a, you're gonna want to stick around for our special announcement. Coming at you live for the however many week in a row, we have our new song. We're not gonna take it. Take it away, Rhythm Bop.
We're not gonna take it.